Good morning, everyone. Today, we're going to talk about healing, why it is so important that you heal, and who has the power of healing. As you all know, my name is WhatsTRadio. For the ones that don't know me, welcome to my podcast. This is WhatsTRadio.
What? 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 Radio. What's the radio?
Well, the tea is, I did not know I was traumatized this whole entire time. From what you may ask, and my past, everything I've been through has traumatized me and kept me from truly living and truly being in the moment, if you know what I mean. Let's go way back, okay? So, as a child, being transgender and not knowing what it is, not having any one to look up to that's transgender on television or any books, no one telling you about these type of people or individuals that are trans. So growing up, in my era and before, we really didn't have any idols. We didn't have any information. We were all kind of learning as we went. The only one in television at the time, I believe, was like RuPaul. And RuPaul isn't trans. He's, a drag queen. He's just, a gay guy that I love so much. But I knew that wasn't my story, my journey. I knew I was just a little different from RuPaul. But being a child and growing up trans with these feelings of, okay, I feel like a girl, but people are calling me he, and I just feel different. I just feel different. I'm looking around, looking at other people, and I'm starting to realize what I want is considered different. I'm considered different, And I heard it a couple of times. Oh, he looks just like a girl. And, when I'm in my own little worlds, I may hear someone say, he's different or, things like that. But what they were trying to say was like, he's gay. I think he's going to be gay when he gets older. But that wasn't what it was. And I already knew that as a child. But I went through a phase to where feeling like that, you tend to keep to yourself because you feel like no one really understands or you just don't want to be picked on. You realize you will be picked on for being different. So you don't want that, so you kind of keep to yourself a little bit. So the only time I could really be myself was like at home, For the most part, my mother was a single parent of two, strong Wonder Woman. She had minor help here and there, but for the most part, my mother has always had a job or two, a job in a hustle or two, and provided for us. So, she wasn't really there at times. She was at work making that money to make sure we had a better life. So I would play in her clothes, play in some girly things, do girly stuff, lipstick and, do my hair and things like that. So being at home after school was like my only outlet, my only way to express myself and really feel like, okay, I've been living as someone else all day. I can finally be myself, you know. So you live like that for a couple of years and then you start to want to date. um, you naturally want to date guys, but the couple of guys that you thought were flirting with you, that were very close to you, you know, you send them little notes and messages and let them know that you want to be with them or you want to, you know, whatever it was at that age. And they laugh at you, call you gay, brush you off because they just, you know, want to fuck or just are friendly. They don't want like a relationship that's you know, strong, that's real, that's kind of serious, you know. Like I'm really a woman in the inside, and they're like, no, I'm just, you know, I'm DL, not necessarily DL, but just young and wanting to have fun and explore. I don't really know who I am, but I know for sure I'm not like gay, and I'm not going to hold that title with me all of my life, you know. So I understood that. Um, so girls flirted with me. I was sexy, you know. Naturally, women flirted with me. So I'm like, okay, let me just go over here because this is easiest and it's more acceptable. So let me try to please these girls. Start lifting weights, start playing sports, start doing these things. And then as I saw the muscle mass growing and as I started living that life, it was quick for me to realize, okay, no, 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 no. This is like middle school going into high school. And I'm like, no, like fashion just started like changing and girls just started wearing all type of cute stuff that I really wanted to wear. You know, I wanted to be a part of it. Girls were wearing, you know, humpadoras and contacts and eyeliner and heels and just looking really cute and hanging out with the boys and you know, and I wanna do that, you know. I was hanging with the crowd, of course, but I was, you know, Deontay. I was D. I was, you know, a nigga, okay? Trade, for lack of better words. But when I was a guy, though, I didn't really mess around with other guys and play that gay stuff. As a guy, I was a guy. But I knew I wanted to be a woman. Like, I want to be the girl all the guys, you know, lust for. I want to be the girl that is cute. I want to be the girl. I want to be the girl. I want to be the girl. So it's like, forget it. You start transitioning and then you start wanting. I was raised very respectfully, raised in church, you know, in church, you never talk back to your parents, especially not your grandparents. Like, that's like law. Like, that's somewhere in the commandments. You do not talk back to your grandparents. So I didn't want to disrespect. I was very respectful. I didn't want to disrespect any of my family by just transitioning without their consent. So I wrote messages to my mother and my brother and expressed to them how I want to transition. Now, that got overlooked. That got overlooked. And I reached a point to where I just was like, forget it, I'm transitioning. So I started putting on girl clothes and just living my life. Now, my mother didn't really accept that. I was having problems at school, of course. Um, but my mother overall is what had hurt me, I guess, because I needed somebody to have my back being a young transgender. And I felt very alone. And I felt like I had to fight a lot of battles myself. Like at school, I had to protect myself, you know. No one would stand up for me. Um, so that made me feel a certain type of way. And then I get home and then I'm fighting with, you know, my mom about transitioning and it just became very overwhelming. I wanted to graduate as a woman, but I was told, of course, if you want to live your way, you got to do that outside of my house. So one time my mom called a boy over. She kicked me out. I left. We kind of agreed that, I probably shouldn't be at the house because I want to transition. I'm liking boys, and she wasn't having any of that. And going back, because I skipped something, my mother and my grandmother, they did a great job with protecting me, sheltering me, and things of that nature. And so no one on the outside really got a chance to molest me or, cause any harm to me. The one that molested me and manipulated me at a very young age was my cousin. And for the longest time, I suppressed it and I considered him my uncle, I guess. But the more I accept it and want to revisit it so I can accept it and heal from it. And it's funny because that's what these past few months have been for me. It has been about healing from everything that has hurt me. And I'm so grateful and thankful for that. And I just want to share with you all. So you may hear some tears, but please understand the tears are releasing the past pain and rejoicing in my healing. But yeah, my cousin, he was older than me. I can't remember how much because once that happened, I like distanced myself and didn't really go around him anymore because I was so embarrassed and disgusted and I didn't know how to feel. But he was, I want to say like 10 years older than me. I think I was like 8, he was 18 or 16 or something like that. You know what I mean? So it was a great deal. He wasn't like a grown man, but he was almost there. And I feel like he saw I was young. He saw I was quiet. He saw I was transgender or gay or whatever he had thought. And he just wanted to take advantage of that, And he did. He manipulated me he coerced me into going downstairs and playing with him and letting him play with me. And we went all the way. And it happened a couple of times. Each time I was hesitant. I was nervous, but I was interested. I was young. I wanted to know what sex was about. I knew nothing. So I guess I accepted that for what it was. But as I look back on it, he was the older one. It was his idea. I wasn't thinking about sex or anything. But when he brought it to me, I was like, okay. And also, I wanted to be accepted. I really wanted to be accepted. So I'm not going to say I would have done anything at that point, but when you're young and you like just want acceptance, you kind of will do anything for it for the most part, especially when you haven't really had it. Like me, my brother was the closest thing to me when I was living at home. My brother that is 5 years younger than me. Oh my God, and I'm so proud of him. He's graduated college. He's doing magnificent in his life, and I'm just so happy about that. But he was the closest thing to me. And when I started transitioning and that molestation had happened to me, I didn't want to take that home with me, those feelings, because I started to feel a certain type of way, if you can understand. I started to feel angry, I guess, over all of that. So going back to, I'm kicked out. So I have to figure out how I'm going to get to school. Ended up not being able to get to school. So I decided to get emancipated. My mother signed me out of school at I think 16 or 17. So I'm a child out here in the world. I have to figure out how I'm going to make it. So at this point, I have to suppress everything I've been through in order to focus on how am I going to take care of myself. Now, I told you guys before, worked for McDonald's, worked for Steak and Shake. All those things come to an end McDonald's came to an end because of school, and they just were kind of slaving me because I was the youngest on the staff. And then Steak and Shake came to an end because of a sexual proposition from my manager. And when I declined, she told our supervisor that I smacked her, that I cussed her out and hit her with a tray in the middle of the day room at Steak and Shake. So there was an investigation started, and I wasn't able to go back to work until after the investigation. Now, the investigation never got completed. A week, 2 weeks, a month, 2, 3 months, 4 months go past, and I'm not called to come in. I'm calling if I can come in, and they're telling me no, the investigation is still going on. So I had to figure out other ways to make money and do my thing. And by the grace of God, I did that. I got on social media and I built a whole platform on music and adult entertainment. And now I'm growing into hair and selling clothes and stuff like that. So internet has really did the damn thing for me. I'm really grateful for the internet and the enhancements of the internet. So going through all of that, I gained some resentment because as I tried to just move on with my life, there became times where I still had to call on my family for help, of course. I may move into a house and I'm short on rent 1 month, so I may call, hey, can I get $100? Can you help me? Or can you, help me with something on my light bill or anything? Could you give me a ride to court? Or, because I was also driving on a permit, so I got a couple of tickets on my license, so I had to go to court for license stuff, and my license got suspended. So it's been a ride, and it seemed like every time I needed something, the answer was always like no, or I was always treated like, get yourself together, like no one is out, like I'm the only one struggling, like people with 9 to 5s aren't struggling. They wasn't really, what am I trying to say? Acknowledging my effort. So that's another thing I got angry for, okay? Not only was it my mother, it was her mother. It was everyone. It felt like they all gathered together and had this conversation like, okay, if D calls you, make sure that you don't do anything for her and don't make her life easy so she understands to get herself together. You know what I mean? So it was very, very hard. So, one of the people in my life that were blatantly there in my corner, no matter what, like, just clearly they were there, was my grandfather, my papa Will Henry de Bonberry. And it's my Nana's husband. You all know my Nana. My Nana and Papa Will were actually our neighbors. Okay, when my family moved to Indianapolis from Mississippi, they were our neighbors in one of the houses that we moved into. They were an older couple, didn't have any children. My mother was young. I was, a baby. So they wanted to, they cling to me. They clung to me, however. And they became like my quote unquote godparents. And it's amazing how God will put people in your life for your healing. You have to accept it. I don't think I've ever really sat and acknowledged that they were like my godparents. My fairly fucking godparents. Heaven sent. So, they actually did a lot for me and really showed me what a family is supposed to be, a close knit family. Now, don't get me wrong, my did a great job with being a figure in my life, a stable figure, you know, representing a strong black woman. She was very clean, um, spiritual, strong, everything she needed and needs to be. She's that plus more. But she was an entrepreneur. So she owned her own business. She owned a daycare, you know. Now, on the other hand, the Demamberries, they actually, my Nana, she actually was a retired nurse. So my grandfather was the only one working, and he was a veteran. So Nana made sure she was always cooking and cleaning and, you know, 3 to 5 to 7 course meals, 3 times a day. So she really showed me what it was like to be a housewife and have a family. Like, they were so close. They talked about everything. They joked about everything. Like, it was very beautiful to see that couple at such a as senior citizens still be so close and loving and all of that stuff. They really set the grounds for when you become married. This is what you do. You wake up, you cook, you clean, you're there for each other. You laugh, you know, like, they just showed me. They were like the Huxtables, the real life Huxtables for me. You know, you watch the Huxtables on TV, and then the Demamberries were like living it for me. So, when I knew I wanted to transition, my Papa Will was there for me. My mother, I think I made like a D or something on a progress report. And my mother wanted to cut my hair. Everyone was calling me a girl, and she knew I took pride in my hair. So she threatened to cut my hair. She was really going to cut my hair. And Papa Will, I'll never forget, he was like, no, don't cut it. Like, I'll do whatever, because she don't want her hair cut. You know, I wasn't she at the time, but she doesn't want her hair cut. So no, he was talking to my mother. I'll do whatever needs to be done so her hair doesn't get cut. And it's stuff like that that you appreciate, because no one was listening to me. Everyone was like, I'm going to do with you what I want to do with you because you're a child, or I have these visions of how your life is going to be, or however, how life should be, or whatever. So it just felt good to be heard and for him to be in my corner. And then he passes away. And that put a strain on me and my Nana's relationship. Once he passed away, me and my Nana really wasn't as close as we should have been in that situation. She jumped on the bandwagon with me not transitioning in her house. Okay. And so, of course, you're going to naturally go where you feel welcome. I didn't feel welcome there anymore. I wanted to explore, the transgender life. I wanted to learn about that. I want to learn about how I'm feeling in the inside. So when I met other people that were trans or gay or whatever, they may not have been my crowd, quote unquote, or the best for me, but I learned a lot from them. And if it wasn't for that at the time, I wouldn't have been able to progress. I learned about hormones. I learned the lingo, gay, straight, gay, trade, tranny. I learned what I was, transgender. Without them, I would have never even been able to put the name or the title or whatever on how I feel. I would have never been able to acknowledge it, know what it is, know how to, say it and look it up or whatever. I just was like, okay, boy that feels like girl, boy trapped in girl's body. That's what I used to consider myself, a girl trapped in a boy's body. So, get friends, maybe not the best of friends. Family don't really approve of them because, they already know they've been through this. So they know people that pretend to be your friends aren't your friends. The friends that you have at the beginning, sometimes half of them, less than half of them make it to the end. So, they're trying to tell me all of this, but I'm not really listening. In my mind, I'm like, okay, they're fine with me. Nothing has happened thus far. What's the problem? You know what I mean? So, things happen. I'm not going to go through all of that in this podcast. I'll do that in another one. But things happened that made them feel like I told you so. So something else got added to the pot of anger. Like, why? Why is it always I told you so? Why am I feeling like I cannot get my way? And people want to just point at me, laugh at me, and, rejoice in my doing wrong and doesn't want to help me. So for years that kind of went on, So then I met someone who knocks me right off my feet. Sugar, sugar. Is that how it go? Yes, he did, honey. Ooh, Jesus. And y'all know who I'm talking about because I done been up and down the water, through the woods with this person. And the reasoning why is because I feel like when I met this person, it just was heaven sent. Like, once again, like the Demamberries, I found someone who sees me and wants to be my friend. I found someone who needs me. Yes, I found someone who needs me. Because in my past, I felt neglected. I felt when I've opened up and told people who I really was, I got thrown away. This person has met me in who I am, living my truth. And they need me. What a wonderful feeling it is to be needed. If they need you, they'll never leave you, right? Okay. So, start a friendship. He wants a relationship. I want a friendship because I'm scared. I don't want to rush anything. I want to get to know you. I want you to get to know me. Because when other ones have got to know me, they've left me. So before I get my feelings too invested, I want you to get to know me. And then tell me if you still want to be with me. So, we go through ups and downs as friends. We get together. Those ups and downs travel into the relationship. We fight like cats and dogs. We say some things to each other we should have never said. And as much as you want to take them back, you can't. A lot of what I felt, I threw on him. And I'm going to be honest, and it was not on purpose. It was that he was my friend, so I talk to you. I can vent and release to you on things that aren't even about us. So when it came to us, I just kind of let it all out. I felt open to be honest, and I was too honest. And a lot of the stuff I've been through, like I said, I threw onto him. And it wasn't on purpose. And vice versa. A lot of the things he had been through and suppressed, he threw onto me. So we were hurting each other while loving each other. And you do not want to hurt someone you love. That's why you must heal. You must heal. You must heal. Healing is not immediate. It takes time. No one can heal you but yourself and God. That's it. And the thing about God is, He has already given you the tools and everything that you need to heal. You must acknowledge, listen, and take advantage.
WhatsTRadio.